Now, I want you to do some time traveling with me really quick. And imagine 1 year from today, you look at your business, your brand, your website, your clients you're working with, and the way that you're showing up is something so different. You're different. That confidence that you didn't think existed within you, it's shining brighter than ever before. Welcome to Elevate Your Brand. This is your go-to podcast for Christian women entrepreneurs who are tired of hustle culture, blending into the marketplace, and desperately wanting financial freedom. Hey, I'm Megan, multi-six-figure entrepreneur, wife, mom, and your new visionary bestie. I learned the secret of how to multiply my business and stand out as a specialist. Luxury branding. If you're ready to learn how to take your business from ordinary to extraordinary, be a financial blessing to others, and multiply what God has entrusted to you, grab your laptop and grab your coffee, girlfriend. This one is for you. You guys, I am having the best time of my life with meeting so many amazing women in business and in ministry and helping them take their current branding to a completely different level. And the amount of work and things that we accomplish within just 1 hour with my elevated brand audit is just, I don't even know. It's God. It's all God. So I'm super excited that if you're somebody that's like, I just feel stuck in my business, or something just feels stale, or I'm not reaching the right people that I want to be reaching, I want to encourage you to hop on over to my website, courageousLikeHer.com, and click brand audit. And I would love to sit down with you for 60 minutes and just help you kind of untangle those weeds that are helping you get stuck in your business, because there's so many women that are just like, I don't know what to do. I don't have a branding eye. Well, hey, you know what? That's what I'm here for. It's a gift that God has given me, and I'm happy to serve you in that capacity. So let's just be friends, share a cup of coffee, and talk business. Hey sis, how's your day going? Let me ask you something really quick. What would your business look like 1 year from now if you stopped hiding? If you stopped second guessing every single decision? If you stopped worrying about what people think? If you stopped trying to make yourself smaller so other people could feel more comfortable? What if you stopped waiting until everything was quote unquote perfect before you showed up? And what would happen if for the next year you decided to show up with excellence every single time? Here's the thing about excellence. And I believe that God did not call you to be mediocre. And that also includes in your branding and in your business. He called you to live a life that is fully surrendered to Him. A life that is lived full out for Jesus and for others. And yes, sis, that includes your business. Excellence is not perfection. I literally say this in every single episode. If you've been with me for a while, hi, I'm sorry I'm a broken record, but somebody needs to be reminded of this. I want to start here because I think a lot of Christian women have confused excellence with perfectionism. And we think if we're going to do something for God, it has to be perfect because we want to please Him, right? The perfect website, the perfect logo, the perfect Instagram feed, the perfect offer, words, launch, time, on and on and on and on and on. And because we're waiting for perfect, we never actually move. And here's the thing, you can only drive a car if it's moving. You can't move a parked one. You can't steer or direct a parked car. But excellence and perfection are actually not even the same thing, and not even close. Perfection says, I can't move until everything is right. And excellence says, I'm going to steward what I have been given to the best of my ability, and I'm willing to grow along the way. Be willing in the excellence to clean up a mess if it happens, because guess what? All you can do is fail forward. And really, the acronym for FAIL that I've always used in my life, so I'd love for you to use this too, is first attempt in learning. That is a very different mindset, right? Excellence doesn't mean that you're never going to make a mistake. I make mistakes all the time, but it's the mistakes that I typically am the only one seeing, well, and God. And excellence doesn't mean that you never have an imperfect launch or an imperfect product or an imperfect website. Excellence also does not mean that every client experience is going to be flawless. Excellence, though, does mean that you care, and you pay attention and you're intentional and you keep learning, growing, and improving. You don't just throw something together and say, well, that's good enough. Because here's what I believe: God did not call you to be mediocre. And I don't mean that in a way that says that you have to be the best at everything. I mean that you have been entrusted with gifts, talents, ideas, influence, relationships, and opportunities. And here's why I care so deeply about serving others with excellence and showing up with excellence. I don't just love Jesus because I'm a Christian and because I believe he is God in flesh. I love Jesus because he saved me. He changed me. He rescued me in my darkest moments. And if you want to hear my testimony, go back and listen to episode 3. He gave me a life I did not deserve. So of course, I want my entire life to glorify him in excellence. And yes, that means my business too. My first business that I ever started after I was a Christian was an altar to the Lord for what he had did in my life, bringing me out of addiction and toxic relationships with men. It means that in my business, the way I serve my clients, the way I communicate, the way I lead, how I price things, how I build my brand, how I show up online, how I treat people, and the standard that I hold for myself, my business isn't separate from my faith. It's all combined because it's all his. And it is one of the most important places besides my family that my faith gets lived out fully and unapologetically. And I think sometimes as Christian women, we have this idea that if we want to have a beautiful brand, a premium experience, a luxury business, so on and so forth, that somehow we're being worldly. And I want to challenge that inside of you today, because luxury is not the same thing as excess. Excellence is not the same thing as extravagance. Woo, that's good. And wanting to create something beautiful, intentional, and exceptional does not mean you love your business more than you love Jesus. Let me say that again. Wanting to create something of excellence, beautiful, intentional, and exceptional does not mean you love your business more than you love Jesus. So the question is, who is at the center of it? Because when Jesus is at the center of your business, it can become a vehicle for service, generosity, impact, and kingdom influence for generations to come. Now let me get real with you for a second. Every day you continue to hide or blend in or shrink back from your calling is another day that the people God has called you to serve may go looking somewhere else. Let that sink in. Every day you continue to hide or blend in or shrink back from your calling is another day that the people God has called you to serve may go looking somewhere else. Because this isn't about you. And this isn't about me. And I know it's easy to think that, well, I'm afraid to niche down because I'm afraid I'm going to leave people behind, or I'm afraid to charge more because what might people think, especially within my church, or I'm afraid to say what I really believe because I don't want to rub anybody the wrong way. I'm afraid to show my true personality. What if people think I'm weird? Girl, you should see me cooking dinner at night. I dance my little behind off with my 2 little kids, and we have the time of our lives. I don't give a crap what people think about me. And you can ask my family that has always been one of my mentalities. And that's what gets me the farthest in life, because other people's opinions of you are actually none of your business. Sorry, not sorry. What if I'm afraid to rebrand? What will people think because I didn't get it right the first time? Who freaking cares? I rebranded my massage therapy business, I think 3 or 4 different times within 8 years. But that's because as you continue to keep growing in the Lord, in your life, as an entrepreneur, your business has to grow with you. What if people think that I'm trying to be too fancy? La-di-da. Again, who cares? If you're afraid of judgment, there's a spirit in you that needs to, or a root of people pleasing that needs to be pulled out. But good news that if it's a root, then that means a spiritual issue, and it can be pulled out and severed right deep at that root. Yank that thing out, girlfriend. Be gone in Jesus' name. But what if your fear of everything I just said is actually costing someone else the opportunity to find you? And what if the woman that desperately needs what you have to offer is actually scrolling right past you because your brand looks exactly like everyone else in your profession? What if she is looking for the exact solution you provide, but you're so afraid of being visible that you've made yourself invisible? And that's something I really want you to sit with this week. Your visibility isn't always about you. Sometimes your visibility is an act of service. Showing up is an act of obedience. And building the business God put on your heart means having the courage to say, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is who I serve. And I'm not going to apologize for it, period. Now, I want you to do some time traveling with me really quick. And imagine 1 year from today, you look at your business, your brand, your website, your clients you're working with, and the way that you're showing up is something so different. You're different. That confidence that you didn't think existed within you, it's shining brighter than ever before. And people are attracted to it. People are like, what's different? You've changed. Yeah, it's Jesus. You're living out who you've been called to be, fully alive, unapologetically. Not because you suddenly just became fearless, but because you finally learned that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward while you're afraid. Do you think that Esther walked into the king's throne room ready to put her life out on the line for her people, that she wasn't full of fear? She was probably trembling. You kidding me? And in this person that you can envision a year from now is the you that finally stopped waiting for permission. The you that finally stopped asking everyone else what they thought. And the you that finally stopped hiding behind, I'm still figuring it out. I want you to finally decide, I'm going to figure it out while I'm moving. And you know what, sis? Your business grew. Your brand became more aligned, more elevated. Your messaging became crystal clear. Your clients changed. Your confidence changed. Your impact changed. Yes, thank you, amen. Not because you had it all figured out 1 year ago, but because you're willing to just start, to take the first step. And here's something else I want you to think about. When we repeatedly say we're going to do something in our business and then we don't follow through, we say we're going to launch the offer, we don't. We're going to update the website, we don't. We're going to start showing up more consistently, we don't. You get the pattern here? We're going to raise our prices, we don't. We're going to finally build the brand we've always been dreaming about, and then guess what? We don't. Over time, we're actually teaching our subconscious mind something. We're teaching ourselves, I don't trust myself. I don't trust myself to follow through. I don't trust myself to make decisions. I don't trust myself to finish what I started. And that's a confidence killer. Because confidence isn't something you just wake up with. Confidence is built through evidence and through consistency. Every time you make a decision to follow through, you build trust within yourself and you actually rewire your brain. Every time you say you're going to do something and actually do it, you build trust within yourself. Every time you try something, fail, learn, adjust, and keep going, failing forward, you build trust within yourself. So maybe you don't need to become more confident before you take that action. Maybe you just need to take action so you become more confident. So now let me ask you this. What are you so afraid of? Is it failure? First attempt in learning. I've lived by this for so many years, and it's helped me get past things that hold me back in my mind when I overthink and overanalyze situations. And the people that you look up to in the business world, speakers, authors, leaders, women who have built incredible brands, who are international speakers, they didn't get to where they are because they never failed. They got to where they are because they weren't afraid to try. They did fall down and they got back up and they learned and they adjusted and they tried again and again and again. And everything in business is a test. We're going to test this out, see if it works. If it doesn't, we adjust. And when you look at things like that in your branding and in your business, you're like, oh, I'm just going to test it and see if it works. And it did. Okay, we're going to keep going in this direction. Oh, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to add this in there. Oop, that didn't work. Okay, we're going to take that out and we're going to keep going in the direction we're still going in. It's that simple. When you take the pressure off to feeling like everybody's watching, they're really not. They're too busy focusing on their own selves. And the people that you do look up to in business, in life, in ministry, whatever it is, what got them there is consistency. Exactly it. Super simple. It was not one perfect decision or one viral post or not a perfectly executed launch or offer, just consistency. And I think that's the part we don't want to hear, right? We want the breakthrough, the transformation, the 6-figure year, the 7-figure year, heck, the 8-figure year. Yes, please. We want the luxury brand. We want the dream clients, but we don't always want the process that comes before it. We don't want to show up when nobody is watching or keep going when the results are slow. Maybe you don't want to make the investment before we see the return. But that is where growth happens, outside of your comfort zone. And this is where I want to bring it back to branding. Because I believe your brand is more than colors and lovely fonts and a killer logo and pretty graphics. Your brand is how people experience the calling you've been given. Your brand is the bridge between the gift inside of you and the person who needs it. So if you've been hiding, if you've been blending in, if your website doesn't communicate the transformation you can provide, if your brand doesn't reflect the level of experience that you can actually deliver, if you're afraid to position yourself as a specialist or an expert in your field, and you're afraid to charge what your work is worth, then you're afraid to be visible. So maybe now it's time to ask yourself, am I stewarding this calling with excellence? Not perfection, but excellence. Maybe it's time to stop asking, what will people think of me? And start asking yourself, who am I called to serve? And stop asking yourself, what if they judge me? And start asking, what if the person I'm called to help never finds me? So here's my challenge for you this week. I want you to identify one place where you've been hiding. Just one. One place where you've been playing small. The one thing you've been saying you're going to do, but you haven't yet. And I want you to ask yourself, what would excellence look like there? Not perfection, excellence. Maybe it's finally updating your website. Maybe it is raising your prices. Maybe it's getting your brand professionally aligned with the level of business you've built. Maybe it's finally deciding on your niche, showing your face, going live on Instagram. I don't know, name your thing. Maybe it's actually sharing your testimony. Whatever it is, do the next right thing. Because a year from now, you're going to look back at this version of yourself and you will either be grateful that you finally decided to show up or you wish you had. So sis, stop hiding, stop blending in, stop waiting until you're fearless, stop waiting until you're perfect. Because it's never going to happen. The only perfect one is Jesus. Thank you, Lord. You have been given a calling. You've been given a gift. And you have been given people to serve. So serve them well. And I believe it's your responsibility to show up with excellence. Not perfection, excellence. Because God did not call you to be mediocre. He called you to live a life full out for Jesus and for others. So go build the thing, go serve the people, go tell the story, go make the impact, and go be courageous. And let your business be one more place where the world gets to see what it looks like when a woman is fully surrendered to God and fully committed to the calling He placed on her life. Until next time, be well and God bless. Hey girl, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share this with a friend who may want to scale her business without relying on hustle? Also, please leave a quick review for the show on Apple Podcasts. It lights me up to know that this podcast is helping you. Okay, time to go reheat my coffee, be a mom, and a CEO. I'm excited to meet you right back here for another episode. Until then, God bless.